There are now people in TV and radio who do the news the way I do it, but I was first. Because I'm black and female, I think I'm not getting the credit. I've had someone say, "Where'd you get your style from?" I invented my style, sweetie. I've been on the radio since I was 14, actually. I was part of an entertaining news music group, a multicultural, multiracial, and we had a program every week on WNYC where we put together our own scripts, and we did our own music, and I played my instruments or I sang or whatever, and we talked about what young people were interested in. And then I kind of drifted back into music and drifted back into news. So I've been doing news for a very, very long time. A lot of people will say, "Well, you know, I remember you when I was a kid, you know, when I was growing up." And sometimes I have to tell people, no, actually we grew up together because I was the same age as you were. A very famous newscaster, Walter Cronkite, very, very famous man. And I watched him work a little bit, and when he came outside the studio, I said, "Gee, I'd like to do that. I think I could do that." And he said, "Let me tell you something, little girl, and I want you to always remember it. Whenever you see someone doing something or sound, you hear something, and it sounds like it's easy, it's because the person doing it is very good at it." And he said that has to do with TV, radio, it has to do with people who work in a bank, it has to do with every job. Whenever it looks easy to an outsider, it's because the person doing it is doing it well. And he says, so whatever you do, I would hope that you would do it well. I didn't start in a small market. I felt that I'm from New York, and if this is for me, it will happen for me here. There are other people who feel more comfortable starting in a smaller market, and perhaps I should have, because they get to make their mistakes in a smaller market. But I felt I wasn't going to leave, and if it was for me, it would be, and if not, I'd go back to theater. In radio, at least, you hear a voice, it's not a face. When you're on television, it's a face, and they can decide to switch your face whenever they want to. Well, I think I want a blonde this year, or then I want a black person, now I want an Asian. So I think being in radio has afforded me a better life as far as the longevity of my career, because I'm a voice and not a face, and I'm known throughout the city. This one is kind of embarrassing because it shows that I was once a young person. And you can see the difference. You know, but when I first came to KISS, this is actually how I looked at one point in my life. But you know, they do say that good black don't crack, so I'm hoping that I haven't cracked it too much. When I first started on the air, one of the salespeople at the station where I was working at told me, well, you should spell your name with an E because that's classier, because my name is really Annie. And I didn't like the fact that he thought he could tell me anything. I have a very good education. I don't need him to tell me anything. So I decided not to put an E on it. When I was working for the country music station, they wanted me to call myself Annie. And I refused. So I'm not going to call myself Annie. I don't call myself Annie. And I'm not going to try to sound country because you want me to sound that way. Now, I could have lost my job, and I realized that. And I didn't want to lose my job, but I also did not want to do exactly what they told me to do if I felt it was wrong or if it was wrong for me. And I think that because I had a very strong mother, a very strong grandmother, a lot of very strong role models around me growing up, I think that impacted the way that I look at life and the way I carry myself. The most significant moment of my career was the inauguration of President Obama and having seats right in the front row, which just was amazing for me. And I hate cold weather, but who cares? It was fabulous. I never thought that I'd live to see that. There are so many things that I've experienced in my long life that I never thought I would experience. When he was inaugurated, I cried, because by that time my parents had passed, and I know it would have meant so much to them. My grandparents had passed, I know it would have meant so much to them. I cried because Martin Luther King didn't live to see it. I cried because Malcolm X didn't live to see it. I cried that day. I went to South Africa 3 times, courtesy of WBLS and WLIB, because I've always been on both radio stations. And I never thought I'd see Africa. And especially, I mean, I was eating in Winnie Mandela's house. We took pictures together. I don't have many idols in my life, besides my idols who are my parents and stuff. But anyone outside of that, like Winnie Mandela, touches me greatly because I admire her struggle. And I never thought I'd go to Africa, not 3 times. I never thought I'd see a black president. And even the longevity that I've had in this business, I never thought I would be here in this business doing what I love this long. I'm very, very lucky. And the apex of my career also was working with Isaac Hayes as his sidekick. I loved that man. That man was a wonderful person. Now I work with Steve Harvey, And that's another thing. I've had a lot of luck. Whenever I've worked with a star, they preferred working with me than with other people, and that's a blessing. When Steve selected me to be his national news person, he was like in 78 markets. That means he had 77 other people he could have chosen.
Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Miss Ann Tripp.
President Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at temporarily blocking both refugees and visitors from now 6 instead of 7 mostly Muslim countries.
So I've been very lucky in that way, and I'm lucky to be a New Yorker, and I'm lucky to be black, and I'm lucky to be a female. All those things make a really nice package.